What's going on, dudes and dudettes out there in Ampland? Happy Sunday Funday. For some of you, it may be a 3-day weekend with President's Day coming up. For others of you, it may be a 3-day weekend with the gargantuan amount of snow we're about to get across the United States. Either way, let's do something a little bit different here today, huh? And let's go ahead and let's live stream. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully all the audio is coming through. I think I have the streaming software set up correctly. If there's anybody in the chat, I'll pop over I'll pop over here every once in a while and check on the chat. I've only got one monitor. I'm not one of those cool kids that's got two monitors that can watch the chat over on the other side. So, what's been going on here in AMP, right? Last time we looked at this was after this giant pump, I believe, when we were consolidating here in this fib level in the blue zone here, right? We got that massive pump, that massive dump, and then we were up teasing around up here. And over the past couple days, over the weekend, looked like we were starting to really set a downtrend. What I had been looking for was to see more consolidation at these fib levels here to start building some momentum to smash through and solidify what had happened back here. So we're over here on the hourly, where each one of these little candlesticks is 1 hour, measured in UTC time as normal, over here on TradingView. The standard. So let's just kind of have some fun here, and let's draw some meme lines, see where we think we're gonna be going, huh? All right, thanks, Brian. So you'll hear me. Normally, I try to edit some of this out. My dog loves to have me throw her bouncy balls around the room, so you'll be hearing me do that. So let's just go ahead and the famed words from the 2000s of Bill O'Reilly, we're doing it live. So, there's a lot of things we could try drawing here, and you're tempted to draw that. Not really. I think really the biggest thing at play here is these consolidations at these fib levels. Let's also not kid ourselves, right? We're not the only altcoin out there. Definitely not. We're down at what? Where are we at? Coin market cap, huh? What's our position here? CoinGecko, I think, had a better ranking. Let's see. Yep. We're ranked number 58 by CoinGecko. I know people have talked about CoinMarketCap. Their data seems a little... Their drawings from some wrong sources or something to that effect, is what I had seen in the AMP Flexa Discord. So let's look at CoinGecko. We are ranked number 58 by market cap, which in and of itself is pretty exciting, considering this was a coin that was not too long ago trading under 1 penny. When was that? Maybe like a couple weeks ago, even. Yeah, February 4th is when we broke that 1 penny range. So it's only been 10 days we've been trading above the penny zone. So this is an exciting place to be in here. Rank number 58. So let's go ahead. We've been seeing a lot of consolidation, and we're also seeing that the volume is completely trickling off, right? In a way, I mean, that's kind of what you expect here, especially if we jump over and look at some other altcoins. Let's go look at ETH, for example. ETH USD is what I'm looking for. Kind of see what the volume's looking at for them, too. Same story for Ethereum over here. You've got a few big candles that threw a lot of volume, but if you take a look at the volume over the past several days, it's been tapering off significantly compared to where it was during even where it was during January, during that run up there. So we're not unprecedented in this sort of consolidation, tracing back, trending downward. And as you can see, we've gotten a couple of hourly candle closes above this fib level here at 3.245 or so cents. Now, let's go ahead and let's frame ourselves, though, right? I'll keep popping over to this tab just to make sure. So let's frame ourselves and realize that let's realize that on the Friday booze cruise, I really screwed up our fib drawings here, didn't I? Okay, so let's go ahead and redraw the fib retracement from this open when we first switched over from Flexa to AMP. down to the bottom of that retracement period. Let's take that, drag it down. Okay, that. Take this over a little bit. Okay, and that's the real picture as opposed to our what we were looking at. So over here on the daily, now that we're actually looking at the fib retracement levels, we can see some actual good support forming over there. Fantastic. So let's keep in mind that our previous all-time high, I'm on a linear scale. We can go logarithmic if we really want. Let's stay linear. Our previous all-time high was very briefly, shortly after launch of AMP, at the about 1.4 cents is where we started out at. So that's important to keep in mind that we've come a pretty damn long way, especially when you start considering we were trading bottomed out. Wow. 0.29, 0.28 cents is about where we bottomed out. I didn't even realize how low we had managed to go. But fantastic accumulation opportunities back there. So over here on the daily, like I said, we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants here, right? Just kind of playing some TA, just having fun on a Sunday, huh? You can kind of sort of see a very... Oops. It's very, very close to a really short-term symmetrical triangle there. Discounting that humongous wick up that we got up to about 5.5 cents. You guys can go ahead and ask what happened there. Frankly, I have zero clue. That was, boy, that was a doozy of a morning, let me tell you. So it kind of looks like we're forming a symmetrical triangle, but I'm skeptical of drawing it. Oh, no, over on the 4-hourly, if we go ahead and adjust this a little bit, it starts to look a little more like a real formation that we're seeing here. Yeah, I like that a lot better on the 4-hourly when we discount that giant wick action that we got. Yeah, Navy Sooner, it's incredible. It mooned and then took that nosedive. All right. But honestly, considering where we were before that mooning action, right? We were trading just a little bit around 3 cents is where we were trading. That was just a few hour anomaly on, what was that? Thursday morning, something like that, Friday morning. It was incredible. And the one negative thing about that, it was fun while it lasted. The only negative is that paints when we start getting up into the 5-cent range, which I know is going to happen at some point, probably in the near future, when we start getting up here, that just paints one little minor resistance level that we're going to be pressing up against. But it also gave us the opportunity to have a little bit of taste test of what price discovery is going to look like over the next, I don't know, few weeks maybe. Looking at this consolidation that we're seeing here, though, if we measure from here up to about here, from the bottom is about 70%. Let's measure it as a downward consolidation, though. We've consolidated about 40% or so. A lot of times with these symmetrical triangles, whenever you do get your breakout, hopefully to the upside, barring some sort of black swan event that just, brings crypto down further, potentially Bitcoin, who knows. Let's say we get a breakout here while we're streaming, huh? And we're looking for about a 40%. That should get us up into that next Fibonacci retracement zone up here, right? And that's what we want to see, is we don't want to see these, massive launch-offs of 100% over the course of 2 hours. Because you get exactly what happened here. You get that launch-off, but you better damn well hope you're watching the charts while you're at work that morning and you get out and you manage to make the trade and time the top. Because otherwise, those rapid launch-ups are also marked by a rapid retracement. And so the healthy thing that we want to see here is we want to see ourselves, we've done some testing of this resistance zone. We had a giant wick above it. We want to get up to that 4.3 cent range, break through it with a nice healthy candle, and keep trading up here in this 4.3 to about 5 cent zone. And that'll give us a little bit of time to take a breather, pull back a little bit, jump up to that level and then trace back, cool off, take a breather, and then be poised to make another launch off into what's really going to be price discovery. Who knows where we're going up here. Sometime soon, I've mentioned, I want to do a little bit more fundamentals analysis. We're always doing TA here. We ought to, at some point, I ought to, at some point, do a little more brushing up on my fundamentals analysis so that we can start looking to the future of, we're doing these videos on, the few day range, but, what's AMP going to look like in July or October or something like that? Anybody's guess right now, because we're trading towards the top of this retracement of the previous all-time high. And we can start doing some retracing Fibonacci's here. Why don't we do that? That can give us a little bit of framing of where we might go in the midterm. But long term, the fundamentals are really what's going to drive that. And adoption of the technology is going to be what drives the fundamentals most strongly. Absolutely. Establishing that support around 3 cents. ASC, I want to say the 5 cent wick. Check me if I'm wrong. I don't remember. That might have been right around the announcement. Do you remember? I think it might have been Friday when MasterCard started talking about doing crypto transactions as an option for their customers. I suspect that may have been timed with that. In addition, I think that was just in general a blow-up period for, let's see, 12th of February, 1600 candle. Let's see. For example, what was Ethereum doing? Ethereum had a little bit of a pump there. Nothing major. That may have been the Bitcoin pump. I'm actually curious. I can't remember what drove that. I want to say that everything was blowing up at that point, relatively speaking. Not as much as AMP did. For hourly, 12th of February, 1600. Yeah, that was right around the point that Bitcoin painted a new all-time high at 48.4 or so, and then started that little bit of a retracement down. So that's part of it. Bitcoin floated us up. There was that MasterCard news that helped float things up. I never really saw any specific AMP announcements or fundamentals that may have drove that. I actually missed this. AMP Community Digest. I'll have to take a peek at this. I completely missed that. You can tell I haven't been on Twitter very much in the past couple days. So maybe, I'm not sure what time that was posted at, but maybe that helped that pump up a little bit. So yeah, this is going to be, I'm not going to sit here and read this whole thing to you guys on the stream. But if you go to the AMP token Twitter page, it's the most recent tweet that they have. Looks like they're going to start putting out a semi-regular newsletter for the community. So that's good to see. I don't think that in and of itself would have drove the massive spike up that we saw. But that's something good to be aware of. Let's jump over to Flexa. Oops. Wrong page. There we go. Not really seeing anything. Okay. So, here, puppy. Here you go, puppy. Go get your puppy. So, the night before, Trevor had tweeted out at Jim Cramer. And actually, thinking about it, these charts being in UTC, that may have coincided pretty close. I don't know if Cramer jumped on this at all. I highly doubt it. It's not a boomer stock. But the visibility I've noticed, we're starting, even just looking at the YouTube channel, over the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing a lot of visibility of AMP building here. If this leads into anything, that'd be awesome too. If we see 1 penny again, I'm putting my left kidney for sale on eBay. I'll go ahead and put my right one up. That way, somebody can get a pair out of there. Yeah, I agree, Mike Hernandez. I think the 1 penny cents or the 1 penny cents, the 1 penny days they're probably behind us now. Speaking in the long term sense here, sense not cents. Um, what I'm expecting, I'm gonna go ahead and go like full Oracle here, and this is more related to Bitcoin and the entire market. So I don't know. Let's jump over the monthly, for example. A pattern that I've noticed going back all the way back to the early days, and it's a pattern a lot of people have noticed. I'm trying to remember. I have a chart of this somewhere. Let me see if I can get this up. That you can draw very, very distinct connections between the halving of Bitcoin, followed by a delay, followed by the massive bull market, followed by retracements until after the next halving, right? And this is actually a pretty good chart here. It only captures a few of the bull cycles, so it's helpful. And it's got the halvings marked on here, so you don't have to go looking up the dates. And I actually like subscribing to this halving theory of Bitcoin price action and, in general, crypto price action. It's sort of AMP in and of itself does its own thing, and it's obviously doing its own massive pumps, right? And it's independent of Bitcoin. But at the same time, all cryptocurrencies generally follow the bull-bear cycle of Bitcoin, with a few exceptions. For example, I noticed that Chainlink was a really great performer during the bear market when you compared it relative to other cryptos. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Go ahead and smash. I'm gonna go ahead and do the old smash that like button, fam. If you're enjoying just kind of having a little chill stream here, talking about AMP, talking about crypto, smash the like button. Helps get a little bit of exposure. Helps push it out to all of the subscribers. Very helpful. So yeah, pivoting away from AMP here for a minute, just to kind of frame where I think we're going. The trend that I've noticed is you have the halving of Bitcoin, generally followed by some really slow upticking, and then launch off to the stratosphere. That's what everybody sees here. My general expectation for this halving cycle, though, based on, if you go back and dig around in the charts, do some percentage movements, what I generally see happening, note that this is on a log scale, what I have noticed is it seems like the behavior is the halving occurs and you start getting the massive run up and you blow off the top and dip down, then go into a bear market, right? And generally what I've seen is the peak, to me, has always seemed to be about, well, discounting the really, really early days back in 2012, 2011. Feels like the peak generally falls, 6 to 8 times the previous, sorry, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I gotta reframe my position here. 18,000. Okay, peak to peak, you can often trace out like a 15 to 20x from the previous peak in the run-up after the halving. But if you go ahead and start doing the math, including if you count this guy in here, up to this guy, you start doing the math, you start to see that the all-time high to all-time high growth each halving cycle gets a little bit smaller. And you also see that the halving starts to, the cycles seem to be compressing a little bit and getting a little bit faster. So my expectation for Bitcoin over this cycle is, I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb and put my reputation on the line. Around October of this year, I expect us to peak around the 120 to 140 cent range. And after October, I expect crypto to go into a bear market until we get that next halving cycle. And my signal for the next halving cycle is you'll see that the bear markets tend to retrace higher than the previous high. So that's always a positive. If you bought in at the all time high, just wait till the next cycle. You'll be okay. My expectation is probably a retrace down to 40,000 or so is what I'm looking for in the next bull cycle after the halving. But I wanted to throw that in here to get that framing of at least where I think the time frame for this crypto bull cycle is going to go. How many alt seasons we get in the interim, I'm not really sure. But I think October-ish is around the time that it's wherever things are at is when I'm going to start doing the most of my profit taking. I have targets for most of the crypto that I'm in. I'm a little bit of a schizo on XRP. I've got my targets for Chainlink. I've got my targets for Ethereum. I've got my targets for all the coins I'm in. But framing that. So that's what I want to do with the fundamentals analysis when we start getting into that here sometime soon. Is trying to do the oracle bit of where do we really think this is going to go by October. So with that said, let's take a look back here on the hourly. And we're seeing another one of these little ascending channels here. Hopefully, this time, got about 38 minutes. I'm hoping in the next hour or two, we may see some action on this triangle we drew. Generally, when you're looking at symmetrical triangles, you want to see the breakout, or unfortunately, the breakdown, as we saw with one of the triangles we drew probably about a week ago. You can get a symmetrical triangle that's not a continuation pattern. I don't think that's going to happen here. I think it's going to be a continuation pattern at the upside. And you generally want to see that in the last quarter to a third-ish of the time axis length of it. So hopefully here in the next day or so, we're going to see some sort of action. We've gotten the consolidation. We've cooled off. We're hitting down at the 3 point something cent range. I think we're about due for some more action here. The volume too is tapering off as we squeeze in here. So that's, I don't know if I have anything else to say here on this live stream. Kind of good, 20, 25 minutes. Let's see, any questions over here? Previous cycles. See, yeah, ASE, you're bringing up a really interesting point here. And this is something, one of the guys that I follow on YouTube, Tyler S., I can't remember his last name. He mostly does Bitcoin chart analysis. Tyler, I'm gonna butcher this. Strejlevich. Just look up Tyler S. Crypto on YouTube if you're interested in him. That's something he's been looking at too. As far as you're talking about Bitcoin, in regard to the fact that this is not a retail cycle anymore. We're starting to see some very interesting action. We alluded to this a few days ago in the video, where the Michael Saylor's conference, I should say, with various executives that were there. I think we're going to see things very similar to the Tesla buy-in as far as the cryptocurrency space goes. I think we're going to see a lot more big companies. It takes a couple months for it to happen. They got to get all their ducks in a row. But the whole Michael Saylor conference was specifically to accelerate that. Right. So I agree, ASE, that I think this cycle could be different. And that's one of the things that is making me hesitant of my price target of 120 to 140, right? 120,000 for Bitcoin. Right now, for everybody, we're just kind of talking general crypto right now, just to get a feel for where the market's going to be going. That's the one thing that throws a wrench in my expectations, right? The 120, 140, 160 range by October is kind of based on previous market behavior. And when we're getting multi-billion-dollar companies pouring money into the crypto space, it changes the dynamic a lot, right? So you may be right. I intend to start profit taking in October, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I eat my hat on that. If we end up, going way further than 120, 140, or wherever you might think Bitcoin is going. I'll eat my hat, but my position is not, majority Bitcoins, so it's worth it to do profit taking and, buy a cool car or something with what I have in Bitcoin. Next one, if AMP breaks down, what levels are we looking at? Kind of depends on the level of breakdown that we're talking here. If we get a breakdown out of this triangle, I think we're going to find strong support here at the previous fib around 2.1 cents. It provide a little bit of a short-term resistance back here. I don't think it's going to be the strongest support imaginable, right? It hasn't really been tested down here at the 2.1 very much. We battled with it very briefly and then just launched out. So let's go ahead and look historically if we had any. Nope, that's way outside of historical. So yeah, my first target would be, if we do break down out of this consolidation pattern, my first target would be that 2.1 cent or so range, followed by the 2 cent psychological barrier. I think we would have much stronger support at 1.4, but I suspect with the general market sentiment, 2.1 would hold just fine. Honestly, though, I'm pretty bullish, and I expect us to start testing this Fibonacci retracement up here at 4.3, 4.4 or so, and hopefully get an hourly candle close above that. Hopefully. So that's my breakdown target if it does happen, 2.1. Worst case, looking at 1.4. If we go anywhere below 1.4, I would start getting very concerned, especially given it's a bullish alt season right now. Below that, you start to get tighter and tighter bands here, and you might look at 1.1, and then look at the 1 cent range, but I have no expectation we're going down there. Where do I see AMP going over the spring or summer? This is part of, I've been talking about doing some more fundamentals analysis as opposed to technical analysis, maybe sooner. And technical analysis is great for feeling out where we're going to be, over the next couple weeks or over the next couple days. Levels and resistance that we're going to see over the long term. But it doesn't really give any good value as far as the long term goes, looking at spring and summer. So we're going to do some more fundamentals on that. I don't know, man. The thing is, these alt seasons, like, if we saw AMP hit 50 cents or $1 a coin, I would not be surprised. The thing, though, will be, if we do get ridiculous levels that don't have, fundamentals of, they don't have the fundamentals of adoption of AMP for collateralization. If there's no fundamentals driving that explosive price, and it's just alt season, take profits and get the hell out, right? Because this is a tendency in alt seasons and cryptocurrency in general, is when everybody starts hitting the full mania, things get completely overvalued. And that's where the real opportunity is. If we see AMP hit $1 a coin, honestly, I'm going to probably wash my hands of it and buy back in way later. But that's my shoot for the moon high target for the spring and summer. And, give me a nice house out of that one is the plan. Probably not spring. I would say more late summer, early fall is where I would expect that to happen if it does. And again, hitting those giant peaks during overvaluation is... Yes, ASC. I want to say that too. Hitting these peak valuations are so short-lived that you've got to take profits as you start seeing peaks. Especially, you set your conservative targets like I've done for all my coins. And then as you get above that, you start taking more and more profit. ASC said 27 alt bag holder here. Take profits this cycle, please. Yeah, let me go back, ASC, and find a couple doozies for you. I still hold my Funfair. I still hold my Bitcoin Cash. I still hold my SALT tokens. Tron is actually apparently starting to make some moves again, but yeah, definitely take profits in the cycle. There's no shame in it, because we're at the point where even if you bought in now, when we get to the peak during the bear market, that market's gonna retrace lower than your buy-in period. So if you really believe in the project, take profit at the top, buy back in lower, and double or triple your stack or do whatever, right? So my buy-in range for AMP token was, I think, let me see. Let me get you an exact number here. My average cost was 0.7 cents. I bought in around, let's see, let me just go ahead and look back. My transactions. So, late September. So, yeah, I was a bag holder that bought in around here. I saw the taper off and I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to buy in around 20th September. Then we went sideways for a while and I was like, oh, this happens. And then whoosh, down to hell. And I was like, well, I'll hold on to it at this point. There comes a point where the way I trade, you make enough losses that you're just like, you write it off and you're like, well, if it comes back, it'll come back. And thank God that's what happened. So my buy-in was around 0.7 cents. Can I mine AMP tokens? No, but you can do staking for AMP tokens. If you go to their website, that's the digest. If you go to their website, there should be a, I know there's a pretty good rundown somewhere around here. Or maybe it's Flexa. AMP staking. There you go. Staking-flexa.network. Interesting. I guess they're having server issues. It's okay, puppy. So I guess their server's down right now. But if you go to that website, when the server's back up, you can do staking of AMP. No mining though. Yeah, if we get a Coinbase listing, I think 50 cents could be pretty easy peasy. Hell, like I said, maybe $1. And have we seen anything more? I know there was Coinbase custody took on AMP. I haven't seen anything else. You would think that just being on Gemini would have so much more exposure than we're actually seeing, right? I don't have a Reddit account. It's strange. If you go on Gemini, on the app, you would think just like the way a lot of normies think about trading, right? You would think you would pull up Gemini, wait for it to load, and you'd scroll down and you'd see, oh, this AMP thing, that's really cheap. And somebody would hit buy on it without knowing what they're doing. But I guess fortunately, actually, that's not the case. People aren't that blind in how they trade. So I'm just trying to see if there's any sentiment on, or any news on Coinbase. Doesn't look like there is, as far as I can tell. Mike Hernandez on staking. Yes. I actually have not done staking yet. I really should. But the nice thing about AMP is when you do stake AMP, the way I understand it is you can take that collateral out at any time. A lot of coins you tie up your liquidity for a month, 3 months, whatever. The way I understand it with AMP, when you stake, you like I said, you can take your AMP back out at any time, withdraw it. So that's a benefit to it. And honestly, I don't know why I haven't staked yet. So yeah, that's actually a good idea. We should take a look at that sometime. Let me take a note. Yeah, let's do some AMP staking sometime. We'll do a video on AMP staking. We'll do some fundamentals analysis. Let's see. Percentage Coinbase picks it up. Man, like, I want to say like 75% odds, but I have absolutely no clue. Yeah, Navy Sooner. I had a friend tell me about I saw your that's how I got into AMP. It was cheap. I had a friend tell me that he heard good things about it, and I was like, well, it's a fraction of a penny. I'll throw a little bit of money at it. Glad that I did. AMP is on Coinbase custody. Likely it gets listed. I agree. At some point, I think it's going to happen. I don't know. Do we have any more fun little chats that anybody wants to throw out there? Otherwise, I think we've kind of covered short-term expectations, speculation on long-term. So I'll go ahead and recap here. Looking at a symmetrical triangle here on the hourly, 4 hourly, kind of on the daily. hopefully expect over the next day a breakout to the upside, targeting 4.3 cents and really targeting a candle close above it, followed by consolidation in this range between there and 50 cents. And then from there, or not 50 cents, I'm already getting ahead of myself after we talked about long-term prices. Trading between that 4.3 and 5 cent range. Hopefully get some consolidation, build some support, back test this 4.3 cent range a few times, build it as support, and then do what we did here, launch up above 5 cents, but hold it. And then hold that 5 cent range as support. That's what I'm targeting. And then in the worst case, I think it's possible we'll see a breakdown to about 2.1 cents here at this fib level. Not super sold. I would also expect a little bit of support on the way down in the middle range of like 2.5 or so, where these candles are at over here. 2.1, unlikely. 1.4, if we did drop down that far, would be immense support. But I'm targeting the upside. I'm calling it for the upside because I think we're about to see altcoins continue ripping like they have been. So that's kind of the recap I have. Let's see if there's anything else over here in the chat. app.flexa.network is how to stake. Yeah, just search for Flexa Network staking or check that link out, and you should be golden. Any bigwigs looking into this? I'd be rampantly speculating. And see, yeah, 50 cents. I was definitely getting ahead of myself. Yeah, adoption will take time. Like I said, yeah, ASC is kind of reiterating what I was saying too, that if we start seeing 50 cents or $1 this year, it's not going to be driven by adoption and fundamentals. Take profit, wait for the correction, and then if you really believe in the fundamentals, then buy back in. So that's about all I have for you today, guys. I don't know. Let's give it another minute and 15 seconds. I'll make it a 40-minute stream, huh? Tie it off right on a square number there. 40 minutes for AMP to launch up to 4 cents, huh? Perfect. Let's see. Any other questions? You think the investor base is stronger than the bull race? I'm not really sure exactly what you mean by that question, Mike. If you want to kind of like rephrase that, I'm not really picking up what you're laying down there. I'm hoping we do flip this candle green, though. Let's get that flip gang in here, all right, guys? Throw some cash in and flip that guy green. But otherwise, over here on the hourly, I want to continue this uptrend here and get a breakthrough. Otherwise, 10 seconds to go. That's about all I have for you today, guys. Have a good one. If you're off for President's Day tomorrow, enjoy. Celebrate all of our presidents. If you end up getting a snow day, congratulations. I once built an igloo. Use the Tupperware container, and you can make nice solid bricks out of it. Hopefully enjoy your day off tomorrow. Otherwise, have a good one.